Monk Mode, the viral 30-day protocol that says kill every distraction, cut the world off, and rebuild your focus from scratch. It has 73 million views on TikTok, and it is quietly breaking most of the people who try it. Here is the strange part. The man who actually invented the phrase never ran it this way at all. So by the end of this, you'll have the real protocol, the 3 rules, the withdrawal nobody warns you about, and exactly how long it should actually run. You'll also know the one difference that decides whether 30 days rebuilds your focus or burns you out instead. Because Monk Mode does work. It works for a reason buried in research most people running the challenge have never opened. But the way it spread online flipped the one thing that made the original work. So go back to the start. Greg McKeown was trying to finish a book called Essentialism, and he was losing. Every email, every meeting, every quick favor pulled a little more from the one account that mattered. And the book he cared about kept not getting written. So one morning, he flipped on an email autoresponder that told the whole world he was away. And then he left it on for 9 months straight. He wrote from 5 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, 5 days a week for as long as it took. That autoresponder was the whole trick. He no longer had to decide 40 times a day whether to answer. The choice was already made. And notice what the rule really took away. Not people, not rest, not the rest of his life. It took away the negotiation. For years, the idea stayed in quiet corners. A software engineer named Ben Orenstein had used the same 2 words years earlier. For him, it was just a private setting he flipped to stop multitasking. Then Cal Newport gave the whole concept a backbone with his book, Deep Work. And then it reached the part of the internet that turns ideas into challenges. An entrepreneur named Iman Gadji took Monk Mode and bolted it to a hard 30-day program. 3 rules, repeated every single day. 10 minutes of meditation, 30 minutes of exercise, no alcohol, no weed, no exceptions. You pick your window, follow the rules without flinching, and film your transformation for the world to see. That framing is what made it explode. It is also where the trouble starts. Because a rhythm had just been sold as a sprint. And here is why it caught fire instead of fading. The distraction it promises to kill is not imaginary. A survey of office workers found that 90% of them reach for their phone for personal reasons in the middle of the workday. That one habit bleeds around 90 minutes out of every single day. Even the career experts stopped rolling their eyes. A workplace strategist named Esther Cohen put it flatly. Removing digital distractions is the whole game for getting real work done. So the hunger for this was real. The only question left was whether the protocol actually delivered, or just looked good on camera. So does it deliver? Here is the research the challenge skips. A professor named Sophie Leroy studied what happens in your head the moment you switch tasks. She found that a piece of your attention stays stuck on the last thing. That is worse if you left it unfinished. She called it attention residue. People who jumped to a new task while an old one was still open did measurably worse on the new one, sometimes by as much as 30 to 40%. Now set a second finding on top of that. Gloria Mark studies how people actually work all day. She found it takes about 23 minutes to fully refocus after one interruptus. 23 minutes, and the modern worker gets pulled away every 11. So do the math with me. If the hole is 23 minutes deep and something knocks you back in every 11, you never climb out. You spend the whole day in half focus and call it working. That is what Monk Mode actually kills, not distraction itself, the constant tiny negotiation with it. So if the science is that solid, why does the 30-day version break people? Here is where the story turns. McKeown's original ran for 9 months at a calm, repeatable pace. The viral version takes that same idea and runs it like a held breath. Everything cut, everything maxed for 30 hard days. And when you run a rhythm like a sprint, the sprint is the thing that snaps. Usually somewhere in the first week, because there is a part of this the tutorials leave out: withdrawal. The brain has spent years on a slot machine of little hits, a buzz, a scroll, a new tab every few minutes. Monk Mode rips that lever out of the wall, and the early stretch does not feel like focus at all. It feels like boredom with an edge to it, a restless itch to check something, anything, while the novelty burns off and nothing new rushes in to replace it. This is not the same thing as a dopamine detox. That is a longer reset, aimed at the brain's whole reward wiring. This one is narrower. It is the ache of a mind that no longer gets to slip away from the task in front of it. And this is exactly where most people quit. They call themselves undisciplined, when really they stopped a hair short of the part where it turns. And some people should quit, or at least soften it, because the extreme version has a real cost, and the critics are not wrong. Cut every human being out of your life for a month, and you might finish the project, but you might also quietly damage the relationships that were going to open your next door. A lot of your best ideas do not arrive at your desk at 5 in the morning. They arrive in a conversation you almost skipped. Run as total isolation, monk mode treats every interruption as an enemy, and some of those interruptions are your actual life. The people who study workplaces warn that the all or nothing version snaps far more people than it saves. Done that way, the whole thing is just a 30-day burnout speedrun with better lighting. So what does the sane version give you instead? Go back to those 23 minutes. Every interruption was costing you the better part of half an hour of real focus. Monk mode doesn't shave a few minutes off that tax. It deletes the interruptions that were charging it. String together a few weeks of mornings where nothing at all is allowed to pull you off the single task in front of you, and the work stops just adding up. It compounds, because you are finally finishing thoughts instead of dropping them halfway. And people come out the other side saying the same eerie thing. They can sit with one hard problem for hours again, the way they could as a kid before the feed trained it out of them. So here is the version worth running. 30 days, in McEwen shape instead of the influencers. Pick one thing that genuinely matters, one project, not a vague vow to become a better person. Protect a single block of hours for it every day, and put it on your calendar like a real meeting nobody is allowed to book over. Your own autoresponder on that block, whatever form it takes, so the choice to focus is made before you sit down. Kill the notifications at the source, not with willpower, and do one thing in that block, not 3. Keep the 3 rules as scaffolding, not as punishment. The meditation, the movement, the clear head. But do not wall off the people who matter. And do not hold your breath for 30 straight days. The lever was never how much you suffered, it was that you stopped negotiating and picked one thing. It is the reason a calm 9-month rhythm finished a book, while a maxed out 30-day sprint so often finishes the person running it. So picture McEwen one more time. 5 in the morning, flipping on that autoresponder. The point was never the monk. It was never the cold, or the isolation, or the suffering. It was one quiet boundary that made the decision for him, every single day. So his attention finally had somewhere to go. You do not need 30 perfect days. You need one protected block and the nerve to guard it. Run that this week and watch what a single uninterrupted hour does. Then try to tell me it felt like the same hour you used to lose. Breaking down the exact focus block I would build first. So subscribe and I'll show you how to defend it when everything you muted comes flooding back.